Hello everyone, happy new week. Today we'll be talking about Coca-Cola. We'll look at how Coca-Cola sells a feeling, not a drink. Think about the last time you saw a Coca-Cola advertisement. Did it make you thirsty? Maybe. But that's probably not the main thing you remember. You remember friends laughing, a family sharing a meal, you remember a summer afternoon, a celebration. You remember a cold bottle covered in condensation rather. Maybe even a familiar song. And that's the secret. Coca-Cola isn't just selling a beverage. Like I said earlier, it's selling a feeling. Because if Coca-Cola were simply a sugary carbonated drink, there would be nothing stopping another company from making something similar. But somehow, more than a century after Coca-Cola was created, the brand remains one of the most recognizable in the world. So, how did a drink become a global symbol of happiness, friendship, celebration, and nostalgia? Welcome to the business behind. Today, we are uncovering how Coca-Cola turned a simple beverage into one of the most powerful brands in the world. At first glance, Coca-Cola's business seems incredibly straightforward. Make a drink, put it in a bottle or can, sell it. But here's the problem. A soft drink is relatively easy to understand, and the market is filled with alternatives. Water, juice, coffee, tea, energy drinks, other sodas, and thousands of private label beverages. So, how do you convince someone to choose your drink? Coca-Cola's answer was remarkably simple. Do not compete only on the product. Compete on what the product represents. Imagine two identical glasses of dark-colored soda. One has no label, the other has the Coca-Cola branding. Which one feels more valuable? That's the power of branding. The physical product may be difficult to distinguish without packaging, but the brand creates an emotional shortcut. The color, the typography, the bottle shape, the advertising, the music, the memories. All of these signals tell your brain, I know this. And familiarity is extremely valuable in business. Because when customers recognize something immediately, they don't have to think as much before buying it. Coca-Cola doesn't sell soda. You look at the way Coca-Cola is historically being advertised. The company could simply say, our beverage tastes great. Instead, its marketing often places the drink inside a larger story. Friends sharing a meal, people celebrating, families gathering, sport, music, holidays, summer, travel, moments of connection. The beverage becomes a symbol inside the story. And this changes the question in the customer's mind. Instead of, do I want a soda? It becomes, do I want to be part of this moment? That's much powerful. And one of Coca-Cola's most powerful concepts is sharing. Think about how often the brand connects the product with another person. Share a Coke, share a meal, share a moment. That's not accidental. Sharing turns an individual purchase into a social experience. And social experiences are memorable. You don't necessarily remember drinking a beverage 3 months ago, but you might remember sitting with your friends at a restaurant, laughing, talking, and having a Coke with a meal. The brand becomes attached to the memory. And once a product becomes attached to the positive memories, it becomes much harder to replace. Here's another reason Coca-Cola has such enormous brand power. It can make adults feel like children again. Someone might remember seeing Coca-Cola at a family gathering, Christmas dinners, birthday parties, restaurants, movie theaters, sports events, road trips. The brand becomes woven into everyday life. And years later, that same person sees the familiar bottle, the familiar color, the familiar advertising style, and suddenly, the product isn't just a drink, it's a memory. That's the commercial power of nostalgia. You can't manufacture 100 years of memories overnight. A new beverage company can create a great product, but it can't instantly create a century of cultural associations. There is something most people overlook. The container matters. Coca-Cola's distinctive bottle was designed to make the product recognizable. Even without seeing the label, the shape can communicate what you're holding. That's powerful because the packaging becomes part of the identity. You think about luxury fashion, the box matters. Then you think about Apple, the packaging matters. And Coca-Cola understood this long before many modern brands. The product wasn't simply what was inside the bottle itself became part of the experience. And Coca-Cola operates around the world. But here is an interesting balance. The brand needs to feel globally recognizable while still fitting into local cultures. That means Coca-Cola can appear at a restaurant in New York, a family gathering in another country, a sporting event somewhere else, and the product still feels familiar. That's an incredible advantage. When you're traveling, familiarity has value. You may not know the local beverage brands, but you recognize Coca-Cola. The brand becomes a small piece of familiarity in an unfamiliar environment. Here is an important part of the business model. Coca-Cola's enormous global presence isn't simply about manufacturing and shipping every bottle itself. The company operates through a broader system involving bottling partners, distributors, retailers, restaurants, vending machines, and other channels. That's important because the real challenge with a global beverage isn't just creating the drink, it's getting the drink everywhere. A restaurant, a grocery store, a convenience store, a movie theater, a stadium, an airport, a vending machine. The easier it is to find a product, the more likely customers are to buy it. Imagine you want a Coca-Cola. You walk into a store. It's right in front of you. Cold, visible, easy to purchase. You don't have to search. That's important. Because sometimes the best marketing isn't a television commercial. It's simply being there at the exact moment someone wants the product. Coca-Cola has spent decades building distribution and visibility. And that creates a powerful habit. See it, recognize it, want it, buy it. The fewer barriers between desire and purchase, the stronger the business becomes. Coca-Cola has also understood another psychological principle. If you repeatedly associate a product with something people love, some of that positive emotion can transfer to the brand. So put Coca-Cola next to a major sporting event, a famous musician, a holiday, a family celebration, a summer vacation, a global cultural moment. The branding begins to borrow emotional meaning from the event. You're no longer simply selling carbonation. You're surrounding the product with positive associations. Imagine launching a new brand or a new soda rather tomorrow. You could create an excellent formula. You could design beautiful packaging. You could spend millions on advertising. But you still won't have something Coca-Cola has accumulated over generations. Cultural memory. You can't buy that instantly. You can't manufacture it in a laboratory. You have to earn it, decade after decade. Campaign after campaign, customer after customer. That is what makes a powerful brand such a difficult competitive advantage to attack. Eventually, branding can turn into habit. Someone orders a burger, they automatically ask for a Coke. They go to the movies, they buy a Coke. They host a party, they put Coke in the refrigerator. They go to a restaurant, they recognize the familiar logo. The decision becomes almost automatic, and that's incredibly valuable. Because the most powerful brands don't need customers to consciously debate every purchase. They become part of the customer's routine. Few things demonstrate the power of brand association better than Coca-Cola's relationship with Christmas. The company's advertising helped reinforce a particular visual image of Santa Claus in popular culture. Cheerful, warm, friendly, and dressed in red. Over time, Coca-Cola became closely associated with Christmas imaginary. Now imagine the commercial opportunity. A beverage brand is no longer associated only with thirst. It's associated with a major holiday, a season, a mood, a family tradition. That's an enormous expansion of what the product means. This is where Coca-Cola's strategy becomes fascinating. At some point, the company stopped being simply a beverage manufacturer. It became part of pop culture. People recognize the branding even when they aren't thirsty. They recognize the colors, the bottle, the advertising style, the Christmas imagery rather, the famous slogans, the sound of opening a can. The experience is better and bigger than the beverage itself. And that's exactly what a powerful brand is supposed to accomplish. So what is Coca-Cola actually selling? Yes, it's selling beverages. But that's only the physical product. The deeper business is built around recognition, availability, habit, emotion, nostalgia, association, and consistency. The company wants customers to recognize the product instantly, find it almost anywhere, associate it with positive experiences, and choose it without having to think too hard. That's the real competitive advantage. Think about the cycle. Coca-Cola becomes recognizable. Recognition creates trust. Trust encourages purchases. Purchases create experiences. Experiences create memories. Memories strengthen emotional attachment. That attachment creates loyalty. Loyal customers continue buying, and those purchases fund more distribution and marketing. Then the cycle starts again. It's a business flywheel that has been operating for generations. So, how did Coca-Cola turn a simple drink into a global empire? It understood something that many businesses overlook. People don't always buy products because they need them. Sometimes they buy what the product represents: a feeling, a memory, a tradition, a moment, a connection. Coca-Cola became incredibly good at attaching those emotions to a bottle. And that's why its greatest asset may not be the secret formula. It may be the meaning people have attached to the brand. The next time you see a cold Coca-Cola, look beyond the drink. Look at the color, the bottle, the advertising, the memories, the associations, the places where you see it. Because you're not looking at a product that was simply designed to quench your thirst. You're looking at a brand that has spent generations teaching the world what that product should feel like. And that's the real business behind Coca-Cola. Don't just sell the product. Sell the feeling people want to associate with it. Because products can't be copied. Prices can be matched. Packaging can be redesigned. But the feeling that has been built over generations, that's much harder to compete with. This is the business behind. And this is our final episode. Every week, we went beyond the products people buy and uncovered the psychology, strategy, and business model that made the world's biggest companies successful. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe. Because the next time you see a familiar brand, you might start asking a different question. What are they really selling? Thank you, and have a great week.